have returned once again today to deliver another stream of Golden Kamuy. On this stream, we are coming episode... I accidentally used the wrong mouse. I was like, why can't I just turn the voice off? But yeah, we come to episode 7 today of Golden Kamuy. And as we know, last episode actually was it was a little bit more of a low-key episode, I would say. It's less on the whole kind of a action-packed side, but it kind of actually explored the characters a lot more. Then the ending came in and actually kind of brought back the action. So very much this episode might deal with the fallout of that fight, actually. That actually was pretty freaking cool. And see what Sugimoto does next as well. So yeah, I do apologise for actually not being here yesterday once again. It was the fact that my doctor told me I actually had to move around a lot more because of my back. So I thought to myself, okay, let's take a bit more of a breather and see what I can do with my back before I actually come back and actually kind of fully do everything. But I think I actually think my back is actually a lot better today. So there's that to look forward to. I guess my back's not so bad. So anyway, let's put on the old Twitter. I've actually gone live for Golden Kamuy. Alright. Gone live for Golden Kamuy episode 7. The only thing with my back now is the fact if I move at an awkward angle, I just feel the pain. That's all it is now. And very much nothing else, I didn't think. I haven't really kind of felt any other pain today when it comes to back pain, but it's just that's about it, really. So, at least I've actually got some consolation prizes, not so bad anymore. But anyway, so let's begin this thing in 3, 2, 1. Let's begin this thing now. Uh-oh. Hello! I like this show because, as well, this fight isn't just like between two people. It's actually a mass. It's actually a mass fight. Actually, kind of cool for that reason. It's one of those ones that if a force move happens, something bad can actually really happen. I love Shirashi so much. Shirashi's such a great character. I don't mind them, to be honest. They're alright, I think. I kind of love this show because it's one of those things that it's constantly, you're always thinking to yourself, so something's gonna happen. Like, it's never like, you're never kind of calm enough to actually say, okay, well, everything's gonna be alright, because something could just happen at any one moment. It's actually really freaking neat. It's one of those things I love about the show, is the fact that it's always like something's happening. The show is just so freaking good. I love it. I actually still have to watch Megalobox after this as well. One of these days I'll catch up with Megalobox, because I've given hearing amazing things about it. But it's one of those shows that always kind of eludes me because I just keep on forgetting about it. Because just in that fight, you're just like, oh crap! Like you had more than one thing happening. I always feel like that's the best way to actually kind of stage a fight is to actually have more than one thing happening. Uh oh. Oof. Man. It's one of those things that it's always feet, legs, what other ones are it? It's fingers always get me. I can't stand it. Ugh. It disturbs me to no end. Also, this episode goes back to the whole entire idea of the fact that the MacGuffin's not always the kind of centralized point of the narrative. Because it kind of is like a detour section of the narrative, but it actually kind of works pretty well in the sense of fleshing out certain characters. Oh, do watch this show. This show's fantastic. It's actually one of the best of the year, in my opinion. Oh no. Oh no. Thank God. I was like, please don't kill off Retro, please. For love of God, I actually love Retro so much. I mean, this episode works quite well, I think, as well. I'd say it's a detour. It's not really a detour too much in the sense of like what you would associate as a detour to a narrative. It's more of a kind of a calm down, if you get what I mean. It's that kind of midway point. Doesn't deter the narrative in any whichever form. It just gives you like kind of a breather between what's happened before. Damn. I love the way this show actually kind of also like what's the word? Kind of like fleshes out certain things. Uh oh. Uh oh. Oh man, it ends right there again. It always ends at the good points. Actually, the whole entire episode was fantastic, but it knows where to end. Oh man, that was good. That was a good episode. Overall, fantastic episode. I quite like that episode because one thing it kind of dealt with perfectly was the idea of the loyalty that the animals have. I actually quite like that aspect because it's one of those things that I've always appreciated that when you actually see it in film and TV and also in any other form of media. Say the words correctly. It's one of those things that if it's done perfectly, you actually can see the reason to why they're there. And I think it's actually done perfectly here. The idea, the loyalty that actually you actually have towards each other is actually really fantastic. I mean, especially for characters that you shouldn't really kind of really like Nihei, for example. Nihei and his dog was actually really freaking neat as a kind of relationship. One of those things that it's one of those things that you could tell there and then, like the respect that he actually has towards him. One of those things. Thank you. I actually really love this show so much. It's one of those things. I love this show. I love the show to bits. It's just so fantastic. Even though this episode was actually kind of more of a down low episode in the sense of it wasn't actually kind of as jam packed as maybe previous episodes were, it's still one of those things that it did a lot to actually kind of flesh out the world that was very much needed. So one of the things this show does, it has a lot of characters. There's characters. There's characters everywhere, basically, when you think about it. We have characters who are trying to go after a lot of different things. MacGuffin's the main center point. But one of the things the show does perfectly is when it needs to, it actually does in theory actually tell you there and then why these characters are here, what they're doing, and why they're actually doing what they're doing. And it's actually one of those things. It's really freaking neat because of that reason. Because you always get a sense to know why they're fighting and what they're fighting for. Because other shows, you could in theory just include all these characters and never actually kind of know why they're there. But here, they actually do a freaking amazing job at actually kind of fleshing out certain characters, especially this episode with Tsurumi as well. I thought it was actually really neat because his character, again, you knew a lot about him. You didn't know I didn't say the bare minimum just then, but you didn't know the ins and outs. You didn't know the ins and outs to why he's there, why he's fighting, and what he's trying to fight for. And now you get that idea. The same thing happened with the Shinsengumi beforehand. This idea of what was going on with them, and what they were actually doing as well. I always thought this was a really neat aspect of the show. That you actually can, in theory, just sit down for a while and actually learn about his characters and why they're actually fighting. And I always thought it was actually really freaking neat. Like Tsurumi, for example, to just... we now know that reason to why he's there. So now we actually can go forward knowing reasons to why people might be going after the MacGuffin. It's one of those things. And again, as I said beforehand, with the idea of the MacGuffin being a centralized point of narrative, this episode actually proved perfectly that it's not always have to be mentioned. It's not always to be there. It was mentioned this episode, but it wasn't as if it was a centralized point. And I actually really like that. I always like that about this aspect of the show as well. This idea of the centralized MacGuffin not always being there. It just allows you to actually kind of appreciate the world itself, I think. And this episode actually proved that perfectly. And also to actually kind of there and then actually kind of tell you a lot about the characters and actually flesh them out. Because Shirashi, for example, he's a fantastic character in his own right. But I feel as if now, as time has gone on with him and Sugimoto, I think he's sort of come to his own from what we saw him before to where he is now. I actually kind of like it for that reason. This idea of how he's grown as a person, how he's actually kind of grown accustomed to Sugimoto and everyone else, and how he actually does impact that actual dynamic they share. And I actually quite like it because the dynamic they actually share is actually really freaking neat because it's one of those things that even though we get characters introduced and actually kind of included into the actual kind of, what's the word, into the group, it's not as if it's kind of like hindering the group's dynamic, because you could in theory get a whole entire show with just Sugimoto and Aspida, wouldn't actually kind of detract anything from the show itself. But you're including more characters, and the dynamic they actually share is fantastic because they all bounce off each other. It's not as if they're actually it's not as if it's actually an aesthetic time between certain characters. Shirashi, for example, is perfect for the actual group himself because he actually brings a lot to the table that was actually kind of otherwise there, but now exemplified with him being there. And I actually quite like that in sense of personality. And I think with the inclusion of more characters as time goes on, I think, and especially in this episode as well, I think actually will in theory just exemplify the idea of how the dynamic's actually growing, how it's actually just becoming the best thing about this whole entire show, because it really is one of the best things about the show, besides the idea of how they develop the characters and also the world itself, is the idea of the dynamic the characters share. And I think that's actually one of the more neater aspects, and I think it's, as time goes on, we're going to see more of it. But yeah, I mean, really, all in all, this was really, really freaking good. Like, it really was. It's one of those ones that I actually really enjoyed. Tanigaki as a character, again, as I said beforehand, especially with Shirashi's character, he is coming to his own, I think, as time went on. He was actually introduced quite well. I always thought to myself, okay, I want to see more of him, what he actually does bring to the table of Golden Kamuy. And I feel as if this episode really kind of proved that. It really kind of proved to why he's there, and the reason to why he's fighting, the reason to why we should actually care. I actually quite like that. I always feel the show's doing a great job of actually making us realise why should we care in the first place. It's one of those shows that I think is more needed in this world, in what we get, because a lot of shows don't tend to actually kind of make you realise why you should care. But I thought this show does it perfectly. I thought as if the show, in episode 1, proved to you why you should care about this actual world itself, and what you should go forward knowing. And I actually quite like the fact it actually doesn't always tell you straight away. It gives you the bare minimum, and actually then allows you to actually kind of grow accustomed to the characters themselves. Actually then allows you to actually kind of see them develop as time goes on, and also the world itself, and actually also then the reason to why they're actually there fighting. So yeah, really, all in all, this show is absolutely fantastic. It really freaking is. I actually absolutely adore it to bits. Every single character is fantastic. The world is fantastic. Everything's just so freaking good. So hopefully the show actually continues in this vein, because we're getting to the final stretch of the series now. We've got 4 episodes to go, I think, after this point. We've got 5, including episode 8, but if we don't include episode 8, it's 4. So hopefully the show continues in this vein, because if it does, it'll probably be the best of the year, I think. It'd be one of those ones that'd be hard to beat, and I feel as if people won't actually kind of realise that. It'd be kind of disappointing, because this show is absolutely incredible so far. So yeah. I feel as if this room's got so hot, my brain's actually starting to a bit weird. I need to open a window somewhere, because god damn it, I don't know what's happened in England lately. England's just become a complete place of not knowing the weather, and it just randomly just kind of changes. You're like, oh god. So now my room just sort of heated up slightly. So anyway, enough talk of my real world problems, as they say. Let's end the stream here. So with all that said, I've indeed been the driver. If you have enjoyed this whole entire stream as a whole on Twitch, then do leave a follow, because indeed it does happen quite a bit. If you enjoy what I do here on YouTube and you want to leave that like, then do leave that like, because indeed it does help quite a bit. If you enjoy what I do here on YouTube and you do want to leave a sub, then do leave a sub, because indeed it does help quite a bit. I will also announce this in this stream as well. I announced it in JoJo yesterday, but I feel as if maybe more people might actually kind of see it here. Basically, I started a Discord server, so in the description you will find a link for it, and also just join it, because it's just a place we like to actually kind of, I like to just throw a load of Shin Megami Tensei memes at, because there's loads of them, and they're actually fantastic. Also, my streams go live on Twitch as well, because I don't know whether or not YouTube even tells you anything, so if you want to watch me live on Twitch, you actually will probably know from there. And also, anything else actually kind of happens in the world of the driver, as they say. So yeah, until next time with JoJo Volume 23 of Part 7, and also Sunset Zero, because that's out tomorrow as well. You know what happens next, because freaking hell, that's a doozy of an episode that will be. So anyway, until then, I'll see you guys later. Bye for now.